please don't forget to smash that like button, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video. You can also check the description of this video and you'll find my compiled link featuring my Patreon, my trade binder, TCG player affiliate link, Discord, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. So check all that out, and I will see you in the video. How's it going, everybody? CJ here, back with another video. We're doing a first thoughts today. This first thoughts is on Barrowin of Clan Undurr. Very excited about this card. It's kind of like a Sun Titan, but like a little bit worse. You don't get the ETB for the Sun Titan trigger, but you do get an ETB trigger for venturing, and it seems cool. Like, there's a lot of ways you can do this, and I think Tomb of Annihilation is probably the best dungeon to use to get this online fast, and it doesn't even hurt you that bad with going the oubliette route because this is a sacrifice deck. You're going to be pulling stuff out of your graveyard anyway, so it works pretty well. I think it's pretty cool. I think this is going to make a very interesting commander and a pretty powerful commander and a fun one, especially at an uncommon. You can make this a kind of like a popper commander, and that seems cool. But one of the main, the categories that I'll be talking about are Blink and Flicker cards, because this way you can get the Venture trigger from the ETB, so that way you can get the dungeon, complete a dungeon and get that going online. And then ETB creatures to follow suit with those, so after you have ventured through the dungeon, you can use these cards on other ETB-based creatures. Ways to make Barrowin unblockable, so that way you don't have to worry about him dying. You've got an Aristocrat sub-theme, which is actually going to be a pretty good theme. There's a meme build and in the 99. And so we're going to start off with the Blink and Flicker cards. So you've got cards like, well, actually, first off, there's also a couple of other cards that are similar to Sun Titan that would work well in this deck, including Bishop of Rebirth, Order of the White Clay, and Sevinne's Reclamation. All those seem like good includes just for extra like usage. But ETB cards that seem pretty good in this deck include Charming Prince, Cloud Shift, Conjurer's Closet, Eldrazi Displacer, Ephemerate, Flicker Wisp, Flicker, and Flicker of Fate. All of those seem like auto-includes in the deck. Just get through your dungeon as fast as possible with these and use the rest of them on your other ETB creatures. It seems like a good way to play. Some of the good ETB creatures that you can throw into this deck that are specifically 3 mana or less, so that way you can recur them using Barrowin, so you can kind of sack them and reuse them over and over and over again. I got a good number of these. You got Stitcher Supplier, nice because it helps you fill up your graveyard too. Dusk Legion Zealot, Jeskai Barricade, Knight of the White Orchid, Mire Triton, West Coast Explorer, Stoneforge Mystic, Wall of Omens, Blade Splicer, Bone Shredder, Demon Disciple, along with Fleshbag Marauder and the other ones that are similar to that, like Plague Crafter. All of those seem pretty good in this deck. Filigree Familiar, Liliana Standard Bearer, Mentor of the Meek, Militia Bugler, Nadar Selfless Paladin, Extra Venture, Nico Ona, Recruiter of the Guard, and Skyclave Apparition, Stalking Leonin, and Woe Strider. All those seem like great includes. And you can also throw in Boreas Charger, which instead of an enters the battlefield trigger, it has a leaves the battlefield trigger. And that seems pretty good in the deck. I think that seems like a pretty good way to build it. Just fill the deck up with a bunch of these cards. You're going to sacrifice them, bring them back into play using your commander. Do that over and over again. You get the extra triggers from like Ephemerate and stuff like that. It seems like a good way to play. I think it's going to be a fun deck. But you do have to attack with Barrowin to get that trigger off. So ways that you can attack safely include Maze of Ith, Trailblazer's Boots, Whisper Silk Cloak, Access Tunnel, Rogue's Passage, Hot Soup, Key to the City, Prowler's Helm, and what's this card called? I can't remember the card's name. It's Dolmen Gate. Dolmen Gate. That seems like a good include too, because it lets you get the attack trigger without having to worry about your commander dying. So, seems good. And now for the Aristocrat stuff. So, along with all these ETB creatures and utility creatures, you can throw in an Aristocrats theme because you're going to be sacking and reanimating a bunch of stuff. So, there's a lot of good cards that work well with that. You have some very recursive creatures that you can throw in along with all these sacrifice outlets that you should probably have, being Bloodghast, Skyclave Shade, Blood-Soaked Champion, Nether Trader, and Reassembling Skeleton. All those seem great. Then some sack outlets. You can use Hell's Caretaker, Alter Dementia, Phyrexian Altar, Ashnod's Altar, Viscera Seer. I already mentioned Woe Strider, which is also nice because it can recur both from escaping and from your commander bringing it back in. Same thing with Viscera Seer. I like that little synergy there. And you have cards that trigger when you sacrifice creatures. So stuff like Blood Artist, Zulaport Cutthroat, Liliana Dreadhorde General, Midnight Reaper, Blight Mound, Grim Horspex, Luminous Broodmoth, Pitiless Plunderer, and Black Market all seem pretty fantastic in this deck. You can also copy the trigger so you can get two things out of your graveyard using stuff like Lithoform Engine and Stronic Resonator. You throw in Dictative Erebos, Grave Pact, and Martyr's Bond. So that way when you're sacrificing things, all your opponents have to sacrifice things too. And just a couple of one-off cards. You got Dauntless Bodyguard, which seems pretty decent because you can recur that and give indestructible to your commander when you need to. Mesmeric Orb, just for some extra mill effect, and that's a very, very powerful mill card. Probably my favorite self-mill card. And Lolith Spider Queen. Seems really good with the sacrifice theme. Gonna get a lot of loyalty counters on it, plus it gives you fodder and stuff. It's a good card. I think the card's very powerful in a sacrifice-based deck. And now we're on to the meme build. So the meme build looks pretty cool. It's kind of a life gain style build. It's going to be Soul Sisters / Cleric Tribal. So it's going to be very heavy on clerics, and then Soul Sisters. So Soul Sisters are Soul's Attendant and Soul Warden, which creature enters the battlefield, you gain life. So it's just going to be you cycling creatures in and out of your graveyard and replaying them over and over and over again, so you gain a lot of life. So you got cards like Soul Attendant, Soul Warden, Auriok Champion, Cleric of Life's Bounty, Impassioned Orator, Suture Priest, Core Celebrant, Righteous Valkyrie, and then some non-creature-based triggers that are very similar. You got Authority of the Consuls, and Johnny's Welcome, but you also have Cruel Celebrant and Daxos. Those two are not clerics, but they seem pretty good in the deck. And some other ways like that you can do from the death triggers too, like Ashes of the Abhorrent. You've got Sir Conrad, Corpse Knight, Death Greeter, Bastion of Remembrance. All those seem fantastic. It's very cool. I really like the idea of this deck. And Starlit Sanctum, I believe that's what the card's called. Let me double check that. That seems like a good card in this deck. I'm almost positive that's what's... Yes. It's a land that lets you sacrifice clerics. That seems pretty great. You've got cards like Ranger Captain of Eos, which lets you go and fetch out your Soul's Attendant and Soul Warden and such. So it seems pretty great. Vesperlark, which lets you reanimate them. Aura and Torbrax, which work really well if you go heavy into the clerics route. Aura seems amazing in this deck. And Species Specialist, same thing. You can just draw tons of cards off this thing. And you're going to be gaining a lot of life doing this, so you can throw in Archangel Athune, or you can throw in cards like Cliffhaven Vampire, Veto, and Sanguine Bond, so that way your opponents lose life as you gain life. And if you throw in those cards, you might as well throw in Exquisite Blood, so you've got an infinite win con there. Dawn of Hope seems like a good card draw engine, and Well of Lost Dreams, same thing. All that seems very good. And now in the 99, we've got Aura, makes sense. It's a cleric, works really well. You've got a lot of aristocrat-style decks as well, including Alesha, Exodus, Tyum, and Felisa. All those seem like pretty good homes for this card if you want to end the 99. And that is what I got for Barrowin of Clan Undurr. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, everybody.